Welcome back. President Biden in Japan today ahead of the G7 summit, where he is pushing his climate change agenda. My next guest moves roughly 30% of North America's natural gas through pipelines and is looking to get Asia and including Japan to buy American versus elsewhere. Joining me right now is the CEO of Energy, Francois Poirier. Francois, great to have you this morning. Thanks very much for being here.
My pleasure. What
is your message to the G7 countries? What do you hope to hear from this president at this G7 summit this weekend?
We need an all-of-the-above approach to providing energy security as well as reducing our emissions. It's an all-of-the-above approach, and America's natural gas can help not only reduce emissions, but provide energy security to the world.
And that's really the main issue that we talk about so much, because energy security is national security. You're in Washington, D.C. this week meeting with lawmakers, trying to highlight the need for permitting reform. And this is one area that keeps coming up that the administration is pushing back. First, they said that there were 9,000 leases out there for oil companies, and it's the oil companies that are not doing the job. But, you know, I spoke with the CEO of Chevron. He said, I don't know what 9,000 leases he's talking about. The issue is permitting. Walk us through the issues around permitting and why the bureaucracy is stopping growth or halting growth.
Well, uncertainty is the enemy of investment, and as we need to invest in more pipelines and more liquefaction facilities, we need a clear set of rules and well-defined timelines to allow us to have the certainty to invest in building those pipelines and getting natural gas to the coasts of the continent.
And your company is behind the Keystone XL. Tell me about the Keystone XL pipeline, and when President Biden came in and immediately stopped that pipeline, there was lots of outcry about that. Give us the implications.
Well, the implications were at the time that, you lost the ability to move 800,000 barrels a day of crude oil from Canada down to the U.S. Gulf Coast, and therefore increased the dependency on foreign oil.
Do you think that the administration is trying to get the G7 to move on this issue?
Well, politicians have a very difficult job trying to balance, the needs and ideologies of seven different countries. What I can tell you on the ground, we talk to investors, we talk to policymakers, we talk to consumers of energy around the world, and it's very clear that they want U.S. natural gas to displace fuel oil and coal, thereby giving them energy security as well as lowering their emissions.
Here's Nancy Tengler. Go ahead, Nancy.
Francois, I'm curious what you think about the fact that this administration is really pushing clean energy, and yet the environmentalists are limiting the ability to mine for the metals that are critical to delivering it. And then the president came out and said we're only going to be dependent on fossil fuels for 10 more years. How do you get their attention?
I think it's really important to present the facts. I mean, if you look at the supply chain and the amount of critical minerals that would be required, right. We need more copper in the next 10 years than we would have consumed in the entirety of the history of mankind, according to the forecast. So you have to bring a little bit of reality to the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. You released the TC Energy's Vision for North American Energy. Tell us about that.
Again, it's an all-of-the-above approach. If we're going to have 2 billion more people on the planet in 20 years, and you have 1.7 billion people around the world today who don't have enough energy, we need more of everything. We need more natural gas. We need more crude oil. We need more coal. We also need more electricity in all different forms. So if you want to make sure that there's energy security as well as sustainability, we're going to need more of everything. And that's why permitting reform is so important.
Well, it's very important, and they're trying to get that in these debt deal negotiations happening. But Francois, there's a whole all-of-government approach to basically putting fossil fuel out of business and, limiting the use of fossil fuel. Give us your sense of the cost of that, because I know that, right now you've got oil companies questioning whether or not they're going to get the funding that they need. You've got university endowments avoiding buying those stocks. So there's a real credit crunch going on.
Frankly, it's difficult to quantify what the cost would be of eliminating fossil fuels today. Frankly, it would be irresponsible. If you look at what happened in Germany last year, they went through the process of shutting down their nuclear plants and shutting down most of their coal plants. And what you saw is they ended up buying LNG at 10 and even 20 times the market price before the shock. So that's why making sure that you're adding forms of supply and not removing others is the right way to go to balance security, affordability, and reliability.
All right, we will leave it there. We'll be watching your company, TC Energy. Francois, thank you.